Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Gail's Journey. And again, please share this with your friends so they'll subscribe to it. And also, if you want to send me an email at gailsjourney101@gmail.com. So the last time I talked to you, we were invited to an adoption agency. And then my husband had said that he really wanted a girl. And after kicking him, he somehow talked her into still accepting us, and it didn't matter what gender. But I feel like at this time in the story that I need to kind of throw a different subject in there while it's fresh on my mind. So I had to tell you a little bit about what's going on now. My father has the beginning of Alzheimer's, and so it doesn't have to do with infertility, but I just feel like I need to share this too. In a way, it's kind of not a bad thing, because if any of y'all have ever been lucky enough to see the movie 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler, where the girl, every time she sees him, it's like the first time. So the good things about Alzheimer's, every time my dad sees me, it's like the first time he's seen me that day. And it's hard for the person that lives with him, and he still remembers our names. But what I wanted to share is that later on in some of the YouTubes, I'll talk about that. So there are some good things about it. Every time, if I go over his house like 5 times a day, every time he's like, "Oh my God, Gail's here. How's she doing?" So I just want to tell you that that's a different segment, but I'll bring it in every once in a while. So he does remember our names. He does remember where he lives sometimes. He doesn't worry about money anymore because he doesn't remember where it's at. So keep those in mind. There are some benefits to that. But back to the last part of my channel, we had met with her, and then finally we got a phone call that there was going to be a orientation. What the orientation means is that they're going to go, you'll meet other couples who cannot have kids or in the process of wanting to adopt. So we got our invitation, and we drive across town, and there's probably 7 to 10 couples. And when we go in there, everybody's sitting in a circle. And I was pretty quiet because as friendly as I am, I was very uncomfortable, and all I could think about was me being a mother. So we're sitting around the circle, and we have to go around and introduce ourselves. So they all take a turn introducing ourselves, but in the meantime, she said we talked about each one of us like if we had kids or we tried to have kids. So one of the biggest things that saved me is when they started talking about finding out they couldn't have kids after thousands of dollars of infertility work. So we go to the seminar, the orientation, we meet all the couples that were kind of like in the same cluster as us, the same cohort that wants to adopt. So we start talking, and we share about how it's difficult to find people who understand what it's like. And when I listened to them, I began to cry because I felt like I had finally been reunited with people that understood how I felt. So it was like a real eye-opener to me, and it helped me out of my depression. And they talked about how others didn't understand, and they had gone through the same thing I did. Like, I only have one kid, it's the same thing. Or we tried to have kids and went through the fertility work, and so it really saved me. So the next stage is we went to the orientation. They go over the prices, and so 27 years ago, the price was $16,000. So understanding how my husband is, that was pretty much every dime we had saved. But you pay in a different segment. So they give you the plan, like when you decide to use them as the agency, you pay so much. When a birth mom picks you, you pay so much. And then at the end, when she signs paper to lose her rights, you pay so much. So that was the next thing. You find out about the agency. You find out how the birth moms choose their adoptive families. And they give you a price list, and then you go home and you go over all that and decide. So here's what I had to battle. First of all, it didn't matter girl or boy. I did want an infant, 1 or under, and then we talk about the finances. Thank you.